Welcome, everyone, to a very interesting time on planet Earth. I just jumped on my YouTube channel and noticed how long ago it was since I did a video. It was 4 months ago, and so much has happened in 4 months. It probably has happened the same for you, where there has been a lot of change happening in the world. You might have noticed the world's rhythm seems both accelerated and also very unpredictable. And that's very much happened here in our lives. My husband had a spider bite, and as a subsequent to that, had a part of his lower right leg removed. So you can imagine the challenges of navigating how he steps around in the world to how I deal with this and the new responsibilities that come with supporting somebody who's going through another healing journey, which Brian seems to be a bit of a theme of his life. So in these moments where we feel most discombobulated, we sometimes forget that we have to stay really grounded amongst it all. And also, how do we ride the waves of this change, the external change, the internal change? How do we keep that inner equilibrium? Because it can be pretty hard to do that. And many have reached out over the last few months to see how Brian's going, see how I'm going. And I really thank you for that. But there's so much also going on for everyone when everything around is shifting. And how do I retain my footing and continue my own personal transformation while somebody else is going through their transformation? And also, how do I support people in our Grigori Grabovoi community to keep balanced? Because that is the thing. How do we keep balanced when there's so much change happening? And so, one of the things for that is cultivating how our consciousness speaks with us. And part of that is noticing which is your thinking against which is what I call the mimics thinking. Because the mimics thinking will give you words in your head to the point of perhaps doubting yourself, or give you a negative. They're not your thoughts. That is external thoughts. And I give you a good example. This week, it was a new moon. I think that we had a meteorite come across Melbourne. Also, the Schumann resonance was up. So there's a lot of things happening, and I didn't sleep well. And as I was laying there, it was almost like somebody was inserting lines, like an AI program being inserted into my head. And I had to sort of fully awaken and just said, I do not consent to anything that's not in my highest good, that's not in my own consciousness, that's not in the divine right of my soul. So I had to, in that moment, become very conscious to instruct whatever was happening around that I wasn't going to play or be part of that. And so our words then provide a very strong template for us to be able to speak and communicate with the quantum field, the ether field, as I call it, the field of information. And so while we're going through these times of any turbulence, and I think for most of you here, perhaps you've even started to turn off the mainstream media because we know that after 6 years, it's pretty much propaganda and trying to convince us. But at the same time, there's many people waking up and thinking, what is it that I can do? How can I work with some of Grabovoi's technologies? How do I keep my equilibrium? And so there's a little practice I do every morning before I get out of bed that I perhaps can encourage you, if you haven't got a morning practice, to perhaps step into something. And it's very simple. And I start off by just being aware of how I feel in the morning. I then start with some breathing, and even in my head, I'm just saying I'm breathing in and I'm breathing out, and just being aware of that breathing in, the sacredness of our breath to start things shifting. And then I make a comment of, I go into the middle of my time and space coordinate system, into the point of here and now, fully anchored in this moment of ever-flowing time, and I arrive in the point of calm. 100 110 5010. And I repeat that number sequence until I feel a shift. For me, a shift is an internal thing, and sometimes it comes with a deep exhale of breath, which gives me an indication. Now, what am I doing when I'm speaking the number sequence? I'm speaking the language of the ether field, of the quantum field, which is this is the norm. Restore everything to the norm. And the norm is unconditional love. That's what the norm means. And so I'm very much speaking that language without distortion, without my mind trying to get in there and say, am I doing it the right way? Or is this something's going to, have I said it the right way? So I take my mind out of there and just speak language. So that's the beauty of using Greek grabber voice number sequences. And then I use two other number sequences to connect to the creator. The first one's to connect to the creator's light. 123 707 44. You'll notice I take a little breath between some of those numbers because this is where new information flows. Not all of Grubber Voice numbers have little breaks in them, but in this case, connecting to the creator's light does. And the second one is connecting to the energy of the creator. 123 111 5025. 123 111 5025. Yes, connecting to the energy of the creator. And after each one of those, I just take a moment to somatically feel in my body some feedback, because over time, when you're a little more experienced, you start to realize that your body is the conduit that gives you feedback when you're working in the quantum field. And so it's really important for us to, again, to go back and understand what is your information, what is your thinking against what is a mimic thinking, a synthetic thinking, which is what some of the world is giving us at the moment as we shift really fast into AI and other technologies. Anyway, I just wanted to jump on here to tell you there's been massive transformations in our house, massive transformations for me, as I'm sure there is, as I said, for all of you. So take care, look after yourself, and I'll see you sometime soon. If you want to join us in the New Earth Academy of Eternity, I'll drop the link down below. This is for people that are not just new, this is for people that are really wanting to explore and take their consciousness to more advanced levels. So have a great day, everyone. Bye for now.